What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwan.
And today, we're noticing the side part.
Oh, yes.
Not a side piece, but part. We're answering questions again.
Say like it's detrimental to humanity. Be careful.
Yeah.
Bad shit's happening. This is for the greater.
Yeah. I forgot how that goes. Wow.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because it gets those questions first.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what Dat1X did. Are there any instances of a mutant becoming a space marine?
Not really. Mutants in the 40K world are kind of usually only seen in like the Underhive, like Necromunda, that kind of stuff. You don't see them becoming much.
Yeah, and that is because when a neophyte or a little baby boy goes through the process of becoming a space marine, the gene seed organs that is implanted into this little thing is going to either kill him or make him into a space marine. Mm-hmm. And the process of killing them usually means that the kid it was deformed in some way. It wasn't to the standard of that the Emperor had for humans.
Right.
So that is why mutants are already they're just gonna die. So it's a waste of time.
Right. You're not gonna spend gene seed and like all this time creating somebody that's quote unquote flawed because they're a mutant. They're gonna get like the most healthiest, strongest person they can to put this gene seed in. Because that's how important gene seed is.
That's like the building blocks of a space marine.
Mm-hmm. It's like, why have a mutant become a space marine when you can have somebody that's already a stronger base elevate to a stronger space marine?
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I don't know why, but it's giving me vibes from 300. Like you had that hunchback with like the shield, and he's like, Leonidas, I will fight for you. And he's like, you could look out for us.
Yeah, like raise your, because he did tell him, raise your shield. And he goes, Arr. It's like, no,
wow, that was really good.
That,
when you did that, like, you became
a flashback of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's in the part 2.
There's a part 2?
Of 300,
what?
yeah.
What is it? Oh, yeah, there is. But isn't that when they go back in the past?
No. I think it's in the future when they fight the Persians on boats.
Mm. Now I do remember. There is a part 2. It's got Cersei in it.
Yep. Wait.
Yeah, she's in it.
Oh, because she's the main lady.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah.
Or maybe that was one.
No.
No, yeah, she was in there because she was his wife, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Gerard Butler.
Yeah. Next question comes from Harris. Are nuclear weapons ever used in battles such as in space marine or in-ground warfare? Yeah, nuclear weapons are used. Some of the Imperial warheads are nuclear warheads. Yes.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, currently there's like weapons that are so much stronger than that. And obviously the ones that make the bigger boom is what we hear about the most.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They're painted yellow.
This one is by Adam Johnson. Are the orcs or gene stealer cults on Krieg? Because that would be a very interactive map. Or in the interactive map, it looks like it. So recently GW put out an interactive map of the galaxy, and it's like you can click on it and see all these like battles and like where things are, what's going on. And I think they're doing this for 2 reasons. One, to kind of give you a little bit insight as to what's currently going on in the galaxy. That's not the main storyline. And then 2, it's like other avenues that like, oh, this was in the map, and then look at what happened like hundreds of years later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like, because I think what they're moving towards is having campaigns, and based on actual campaign events, the outcome of those campaign events influence the history of 40K, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that Gene Stealers and the Death Corps of Krieg are fighting.
Again, because it's all about primaris. Mm-hmm. That's why we didn't hear about it.
Fucking primaris. Mm-mm. Next question.
This one is by M.J. Anderson. What is the better faction for a 50-year-old noob between the Harlequins or the White Scars? Whenever you're asking what's better, I always ask this question: which one's the Space Marine?
Yeah.
Because White Scars are pretty good currently. They're fast, they hit hard, and they're Space Marines, meaning they're gonna get all the new stuff, all the new codices you come out with first. They get nerfs, they get buffs. You're gonna be way more active playing White Scars than the Harlequins, which haven't gotten a lick of new things in years.
Yep.
You probably have, if you pick Harlequins, you're going to have a hard time even finding models for them because there's only really like 4 core Harlequin units,
Yep.
and everything else is borrowed from like the Dark Eldar, the Inari, Craft Worlds, Exodites. So yeah.
Same things if you go to the GW store. The GW stores usually never stock Harlequins. They have
Right.
like one special character, maybe the troop, but that's it.
Yeah. Where Space Marines, you got a whole wall full of it.
Yeah.
So in terms of accessibility, in terms of rules and lore and stuff like that, you're gonna have tons more for the White Scars.
I don't even think there's a starter set for the Harlequins. Because I would say, like, oh, just buy both. Buy 2 starter sets.
Mm-hmm.
Or buy one, work on it, then when it's done, buy the second one. But I don't think there's a Harlequin starter set.
Yeah. I'm not saying don't do Harlequins at all. Always go for what you enjoy the most, because at the end of the day, it's a hobby that you're gonna spend tons of hours into, and if you don't like Space Marines, but it's it's good, I'd say don't do Space Marines.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though the White Scars are pretty cool.
They are. Yeah.
Especially now with the bikes. Observation source. Is it possible to create a new Inquisition order? And if so, what rules or restrictions are there? There is no codex for the Inquisition. I think that's kind of in the Sisters of Battle, maybe?
Yeah, they integrated it. There used to be a codex for Inquisition back in 5th
or 6th,
yeah.
But yeah, what you would do is, yes, if you want to create an ordo, it would be a minor order within the Inquisition, and then you get to build your own stuff. If you're interested in creating the lore behind that, and you don't really, like, you like the models and you want to paint and stuff, I would say just go over to, like, Dark Heresy or those types of games where it's like, Inquisitor is another game where they focus on the Inquisition. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Forge World has a lot of Inquisition-esque like models, so that'd be another avenue to explore. This question is by Malix Plays. Do you think Fabius Bile will create his own primaris? He has over 17k gene seed under his disposal currently. We kind of touched base on this in the previous For the Greater Wall, but it definitely is an option. I wouldn't be surprised if they do come out with something like that. Seeing as how there's only currently 2 troop choices for Chaos, either cultists or Space Marines, and having a third is always going to be great.
Yeah.
But the thing is, usually people bring cultists because they're cheap, and you could just spam on everything else. But if there are Primaris Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, they're going to be more expensive than Space Marines. So that's another thing to think of when you're creating your lists.
Yeah. Point-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. This one. Do you have one?
This is interesting. This one's by Phil Gill. You have to choose 2, and the others are going to try and kill you. So, you have access to a tactical squad of Space Marines, an Imperial Guard planetary defense force equipped with actual flashlights, a declawed Carnifex, maybe 40 Nurglings, 10 Silverback Lesners, and Bridget B in her prime.
So we have to pick 2 and the rest are going to try to kill you?
Mm-hmm. I think hands down it's 1 in 6.
Bridget B.
And the tactical squad of Marines.
Yeah. I think you could survive with just Bridget B.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And if you died with Bridget B.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win-win.
That is.
Because you're dying.
Mm-hmm. I was almost going to pick about 40 Nurglings, but the uncertainty is what got to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't like odd numbers, and if it is, then I'd already be out of the fight.
Yeah. And then they don't have a Ruttifer or a Runt Herder.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of need that. This question comes from MJ Anderson. What is the better faction for a 50-year-old?
We already got that one, yeah. This one's by Lieutenant Clifford Z. So it's about the Chaos ability, Death to the False Emperor. So if the Emperor is indeed considered false to a Chaos worshipper, is that not implying that there is another Emperor that is not false? So the question is, who would that be? Thought Chaos was run by gods and not emperors. As always, thanks for your cool videos. I'm sorry if this has already been asked. It hasn't, but now it has.
Yeah, because what they're doing is they're kind of saying, like, it's not my president.
Mm-hmm.
They're still presidents, but it's just not my president.
Right.
So it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not my emperor. He's a false emperor.
Mm-hmm.
He's claiming something that's not his, and they've done that throughout time forever.
Right. It's like, this is my patron, Zeech.
Yes. He got my back. This question comes from Jose Games. If the old ones would have just helped the Necron tier by fixing their DNA so they no longer wasted away, how would this have changed 40K? It would have made it worse for the old ones, and the Necrons would have gained control quicker.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that the Necrons actually attacked the old ones partly was jealousy, but mostly it was to unify their people. Because they started expanding, and their dynasties became very fractured. So the Silent King at that time was like, how am I going to unify my people? Oh, let's blame one race.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They blamed the old ones, and then the war began. So even if the old ones would have helped, and the Necron tier would have lived longer, eventually the fracture, like you can't fix being an asshole. So the dynasties would have been assholes to each other, and the Silent King would have been like, well, now that we live forever, let's just fight the other.
Yeah, it's the whole us versus them mentality.
Yeah.
Vilify the enemy to unite your people.
Yep.
We see it time and time again throughout history and currently.
Mm-hmm.
This one is by Jimmy McHugh. Has Guilliman altered the Codex Astarte for the Indomitus Crusade? I could be wrong, but didn't Space Marine companies used to have a company captain, then 2 lieutenants? Now it's seen that there's a company captain, then a strike force captain, then numerous lieutenants. Sorry if this question is long.
No, yep, you're right. He altered it.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously there's no units.
Yeah. And not just that, but like after Guilliman was quote unquote, he wasn't resurrected. After Guilliman was healed and came up to speed, he saw the state of the universe or the galaxy, and he's like, well, I gotta change a few things here.
Yeah, like the Space Marines have to become way more flexible in order to defeat the foes that are active now.
Right.
Kind of like what the Necrons are doing. Like they're waking up and they're like, oh shit, like these people or these warrior races were supposed to be dead, and now the orcs control most of the planet. And by control, I mean just sit on it. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean that's pretty much true. Because if he didn't change things and he kept them stagnant from way back when, it just wouldn't have worked. And not just that, but I feel like even changing the codex doesn't really have that much of a use to it because there's so many chapters that are not codex compliant.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least he's doing something about it.
True.
This one's by Melton Spotted Bear. My son and I wanted to know who would win between Nurgle and Cthulhu, and we thought you guys would be the perfect one to let us know. You guys, 40K channel is awesome. Keep it up. And he's got a horse with flames behind it.
Sweet.
Cool.
Wait, do you want horse to burn, or you're saying
I think he's saying
horse
that
is on fire?
Like the horse is going so fast, it's leaving a trail of fire.
Oh.
I think so.
Cool. So Cthulhu would win, just because Cthulhu is a god of multiple dimensions.
Just by staring at him, you become insane.
Yeah, and Nurgle is just like, he's Grandfather Nurgle, and his house is the warp, and you can go over if you want rat flies.
Yeah. I'd be if Cthulhu was a thing in 40K, I'd really want to see like what his lesser demons and greater demons would look like.
Yeah, it would be tentacled beasts all around, hentai for everyone.
Maybe we'd actually get like an aquatic race.
Yeah.
Just the whole Lovecraftian like mythos and monsters would be cool.
Yeah, it's influential on 40K, but I don't think it's like super like penetrating the aesthetic.
Right. You get a few like tie-ins here and there, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Usually with Zinch, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question.
Adam Johnson. You guys must be happy with the updates for our wolves, AP1 chainswords, and 2 wound firstborn marines.
My wolves are not going to be ready to fight ever, so I mean, I don't really care.
But I mean, it still impacts your regular like Imperial Fists and stuff. Because Space Marines got 2 wounds now. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. So it's becoming more preference. Like, should I go Primaris or should I go Space Marine, like classic Firstborn Marines?
That's crazy. I never thought GW would do that. Because now it's one of those situations where it's like, well, how are the stores going to be stocked? Because like everybody's going to be buying Primaris, but you're competing with yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Not, well, I mean, yeah, I guess kind of. I don't know.
People are saying that like, oh, they're just making the Firstborn Marines better so that people can buy out all their stock. So when they phase them out, it's just like Primaris.
That makes sense then. Yeah, that makes sense. This question comes from West the Mess. Did the Sound Alchemist finally get a GF? Ha ha ha.
A grandfather? I already had one of those.
Had.
Yeah.
Didn't we all? I think I only met one grandparent that I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
It is sad.
Next question. I have grandfather Nurgle though. I still have him. This question comes from Tortorn. You guys ever do a video on the Severant Dominant? I thought we did. Check out our 40 facts on the Severant Dominant. I'm pretty sure it's there. If not, yeah, I'll make one for you.
This one's by Magic Eye. Could or has a Gene Stealer cult infiltrated Terra? And if so, what would be the results?
Yeah, there's a theory that there is a Gene Stealer cult on Terra, and you should check out our 40 facts on the Gene Stealer cult on Terra.
But the results are like, you could see a bunch of like purple people walking around, and everybody's just like, whoa, he should get out more often. He needs some sun.
Yeah, or he's holding it in.
Yeah. It's like that meme with the kid with the veins.
Yep.
But he's purple.
Yeah.
And it's just, also, what is your outro music?
Check out our description. Way at the bottom, there's a SoundCloud link. There is a guy named Municipal Vice. He's a DJ in Chicago, and that is who gives us that background music. Just like that.
JBKJ4. Say a chapter had only one company. Could they have a lot of warrior serfs to come into battle with them?
If they need to, yes. If like they're defending their chapter and it's like, or their homeworld, and it's like you either pick up a gun or a shovel and come fight, or you're gonna die. Then yeah, obviously they're gonna go out.
Yeah. Same thing on Fenris when like the Thousand Sons were attacking and their gene seed factories were getting destroyed. It's like they're not just gonna let that happen.
Yeah, the tribes went out and the tribes were fighting these things.
Not doing very well, but I mean they were fighting these things.
Yeah. But what's cool is I'm pretty sure the chaplain was still like kind of eyeing them, like, oh, which one of them is actually killing these?
Oh, this dude's doing too good. Oh, and he got cut in half.
Yeah, but it's okay. We'll patch him up.
Yeah, quick, get the super glue.
Yeah, it fixes everything.
Yeah, it does, surprisingly. I once had. We'll end it with that.
Gonorrhea.
Glue.
Super glue fixes gonorrhea. I'm just kidding. Don't do that to yourself.
I was losing in tic-tac-toe and I used glue. And I won.
I don't know how. Tic-tac-toe?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like pocket sand.
Oh. The sand that melts in your mouth?
The sand that smiles back.
This question is the last question, and it is by Marchie the Dead. What if Sly Marbo had a favored vehicle what would it be? Also, Emperor protects. Sly Marbo would have to have a fast vehicle, but also something that could fly.
So a shirtless Arnold with a beanie?
Probably, yeah. Or no, an Adeptus Custodian jet bike.
Did you even hear that? For some reason, I just put this down.
Oh, yeah.
I clocked out 10 seconds ago. Shirtless Arnold with a beanie.
Yes. And those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. And thanks for listening, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Gersh1.
Sound Alchemist, and we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.